Hi everyone, and welcome to my first YouTube video. I am going to walk through how I close out my month and talk a little bit about my categories as I prepare for February tomorrow. A little bit about me. My name is Jess. I live in New York City with my partner and our two young kids, and I'm budgeting as the parent in a family of four. But also, I was recently laid off from my job, and so I am going to be budgeting with a severance pay. Very different from my typical experience with YNAB, so I'm really curious to see what I learn about this process. My partner also works full time. Our finances are combined and we share accounts. So I'll be budgeting for their pay periods, which are twice monthly as well. So just a couple of things I'm going to do to close out the month. I first take a look, you'll see I have a couple of Amazon transactions that came in that I need to categorize. I turned off the default setting to auto categorize, which I need to do for Amazon because it's always usually a split when I do a big purchase. So there's a couple of those I need to take care of, which I will do. And then for the rest of my bills, a majority of them are already funded. At the beginning of January, I did a fresh start. So I reset the budget and reset some of the categories, took some away, added some new ones. And so the money that I had available, I reallocated during the fresh start, and I now have covered everything for the month of January. There are a couple of things you'll see in my food categories because of the way that our food and dining budgets are broken down in a more granular weekly fashion. I've got a little bit left over for this week. Today's the last day of the month, so I'm going to go ahead and snooze this because I'm not going to add any more money in because we're on the last day of the month. I will let my food categories, eating out categories, and a couple of these family life categories roll over to the next month, and then I will just fund the difference. I have one overspend here, which I took money out. I went to the bank, which I do very rarely, probably once a month. So the last time I was at the bank, I went ahead and took out a little bit extra for February. I pay our cleaning person in cash. This is maybe a no-no. I'm going to let this roll to February because I'm planning for my February money to cover that cash withdrawal. And last but not least, I've got one more highlighted underfunded here. This is a new category heading and a granular breakdown of all of the apps and streaming services that we currently pay for. I did this specifically to have more awareness of where the money is going and to also be mindful about which services and apps we're really utilizing and which we're not, so that I could go through and make some decisions about which ones to cancel. This is a little extra, but this is one of the things I really love about YNAB. It gives me the flexibility to really, really, really go granular on something and have a much better sense of where my money is going. I probably won't keep it like this for the full year, but I kind of just wanted to get the lay of the land as we started out in 2024. My partner and I were on parental leave last year because we had a new baby, and so I feel like this list of streaming services grew a little out of control. So stay tuned for more on that. But for this top apps and subscriptions category, I kind of started the year set aside what I thought I would spend within the month. And then as I went, I kind of just moved money from what I had available. I set this as a 300 target. So I had 300 to start the month. As one of these transactions came up, so for example, Amazon Prime, I would move the 1632 from my general bucket into the Amazon Prime line item. So as you'll see, this is saying I'm underfunded. I had a couple of general transactions in here, so I'm going to keep tabs on these. In the end, I'll probably move most of the streaming services we keep back to this general apps and subscription category, but for now, I'm going to keep them broken out. And I'm going to go ahead and snooze this target for the month. Okay, I think that takes care of everything except for the Amazon transactions. So I'm going to take care of those in a minute. And then the other thing I like to do at the end of the month is to go ahead and update my tracking accounts. I use our budget to keep track of a rough estimate of our net worth, including all of our retirement accounts. So 401k, an HSA account. We have a high deductible health plan, so I take advantage of the HSA investment, tax-free investments. And then we also have Roth IRAs, which we contribute to, and two 529s for our kids. So I will update the balances of those. I will go ahead and categorize my Amazon transactions. And my partner just got paid because their pay period is the 15th and last day of the month. So I'm going to go ahead and start assigning for February. Because I am working with a severance, I'm going to also try to fund the month when we roll over to tomorrow. And I will take this for 680, 83, and wrap that in with the February. Actually, I'll probably just move this February money into Ready Assign. And so I will be taking care of that. Let me just check my list. I think that's all that I do at the end of the month. Um, you'll see most everything I have targets set for. I almost always do needed for spending targets. I haven't really found, in the way that our budget is set up, a use for some of the other target types. So I kind of have on everything that I know either will need to pay annually or monthly. I have targets set up. Our 529 IRA and HSA savings, you'll see I have the total allowed contribution amount for the year. Just as a note to myself, I'm not sure if we will get a chance to contribute to these in the same way we used to budget for them monthly. But because of the change to my income, I need to figure out what is the best way to fund that this year. So those don't have targets right now. And then there's a couple of things that rolled over. Like, for example, the home insurance, I paid that at the end of last year before I did a fresh start. So I paid that and it was withdrawn from the account this month. So as soon as we roll over to February, I will go ahead and set up a target for that to be ready for next February of 2025. But for the most part, I use targets for everything. There's a couple of things that I just paid at the end of last year. And then down in our family life, which is kind of my representation of quality of life, I have these little emojis that kind of have a warning sign. These are all things that I have not yet set a target for that I know I will want to come back to at some point. But at the moment, they're not things that we regularly spend from every month. They're kind of like ad hoc, unexpected, roll with the punches things. So for now, I'm going to leave the targets turned off. There's a couple of them that I've just put some money into because I know, over the next month or two, we'll probably do some family stuff together. And then I have a class that I'm planning to take, so I've got some money set aside for that. But for now, I'll leave these without targets. Most of the stuff that we spend regularly for quality of life does have a target on it, and these are also things I typically roll over to the next month. For the essential bills, these, for the most part, these get funded and spent every month. There's a couple here I have not entered the transaction for yet. And then there's another, life insurance is one that is funded annually and had some money saved up at the end of last year before I did a fresh start. So I just rolled that over to carry us through this year. Okay, I think I will stop it here and we'll be back with some updated net worth and we'll take a look at budgeting with a severance for February. Thanks.